Good evening. How are you?
I'm
Good.
good.
I'm
How are you
doing all
tonight?
right. We have a very special episode this evening. We have a visitor. We have an observer guest this evening. Jeff is here. Are you here, Jeff? Here he
Oh, there it
is.
is.
the one-
Man, I appreciate this, guys, a
oh,
whole
sure,
lot.
sure. Not at all. Well, now we got to put you on spot because everybody knows us. So, first the ground rules for the evening, though. Roger, you cannot beat the living snot out of me to try to show off to the new
Oh,
player.
No, I'm out. I'm out.
the way my luck has been going for the last
Ah,
month? That's very
nah.
unlikely.
You're doing fine. Well, Jeff, we got you on the spot, so why don't you? This is your chance to tell us a little bit about yourself and to plug your own content. So I'm going to give the floor to you.
All right. Well, my YouTube or Console World or other places, basically name is Hex2Hex Wargaming. I'm one of these long time. I'm almost 60, so I started playing back in the 70s. And I left for a while of playing while I was in the military and gone. And I think about a year and a half ago, I came back to playing when I opened up my closet door during a really, really cold, wintry night. And I saw a terrible Swift sword sitting there. And I said, oh, let's play. And within 2 weeks, I think I had dropped $6,000 on all the games I had missed over the
Yeah, the,
years.
the first step
And
is admitting that you have a problem. So I'll just put that right out there for you.
well, there's no gambling hotline to call for that one. But yeah, American Civil War, World War II, Napoleonics, and pieces of World War One. That's pretty much my era of
Great,
play.
great. Well, for the folks at home watching this after the fact, literally 10 minutes ago, Jeff hit me up on Facebook and said, "Hey, by the way, the next time you guys record, can I watch?" And I said, "Well, you are in luck, sir, because we are about to start. So welcome. We're glad to have you here." So what are you hoping to get out of this tonight, aside from seeing both of us roll poorly and all the stuff that we would normally edit out?
Well, I mean, I always see your edited versions, and of course, I play with I'm getting new to Vassal still. I mean, I'm one of those that I kind of got to see the whole picture, but I'm dabbling with Big Board, playing him, Wardrobe. My buddy LBW Steve up in Dakotas, we're trying Great Battles of the
Oh
American
yeah,
Civil
that's good.
War. So, what I miss with you two guys is because I know y'all been doing this a while. I want to hear that talk that's not in the
The
edit version.
curses. It's fine. You want the R-rated version. That's fine. Because Roger works a little blue. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I do not. I mean,
I
Sometimes.
think
sometimes, but
there's a
not.
lot more thinking going on because you guys, when you see the edited version, you guys are just ripping
Right.
through it, and I got a feeling there's a lot more to
There
it than that.
is. There
Plus,
is.
the series is
Yeah. So
great.
you're the first person that we've let pull back the curtain from the Great Wizard of Oz to see how this works. So yeah, it's all magic every weekend. We're glad to have you here. So
I really
and
appreciate
by
it.
all
Thanks, guys.
means, as we're going along, if there's something that rule specific or from a mechanic that you're curious about, we that is the one thing that Roger and I like to do when it's germane to the game is we like to sit there and think things out and say, what if I do this? Wow, that'd be really stupid. So yeah, I tend to leave that stuff in, and then if it's just us taking 5 minutes to think about and him and haw, that's usually what I cut out. So. But if you have a question or anything at all, yeah, just jump right in. We're glad to answer questions.
Awesome, awesome. I'm here to observe, and I know this is going to be good for
Great,
me.
great. Well then, for the formal, let us get started for the evening. Welcome to everyone that is watching this after the fact. Hello, sir. How are you this evening? I think we covered that. You're doing well, I believe, right?
Uh, Saturday night, and
Saturday night's all right for fighting, as it were.
that's right.
Um,
I've got my adult
As do
beverage,
I.
and
I have got my Irish whiskey here, and
it's
yeah, we
good.
got to self medicate however we can. Tonight we have moved on to scenario number 4. This is our first play of "We Will Make the Fight," and I literally just read that line in the book, and Hood's just
Ah,
like, "Yeah, we'll make the fight." And I'm like, "That is so
yeah.
cool." So as we usually do, I'm going to set it up with the historical information, and then we will go through the in-depth scenario specific rules tonight for this playthrough, and we'll have some opening thoughts, and then we will get into it. So figure 10 to 15 minutes here as we step through some of the stuff we've seen before. So I mean, now with the fourth iteration of this, plus this is the very tail end of that 7 days race for Columbia scenario. We are at the Franklin portion of this, the Battle of Franklin. So we are seeing things in the rules tonight that we have seen multiple times. So don't be surprised. All right, so Scenario 4, we will make the fight. Here's our historical information. After Union troops slipped away at Spring Hill the night of November 29th, they moved north on the pike to Franklin and dug in to allow time to cross the Harpeth River. Hood immediately declared, "We will make the fight," and attacked the strong Union position, deciding he did not have time for a flanking movement before the enemy could pull back to Nashville. The ensuing battle was a disaster for the Confederate Army, womp, 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 with casualties approximately 7,000 compared to about 2,500 for the Union. So haste makes waste is what we're taking away from this tonight. This is a 2-turn scenario, and we're back to our 2-turn, well, still at 2 turns. This is November 30th and December 1st of 1864. And here are the specific rules for this one. I am playing the Union tonight. Roger is taking the Confederates as we alternate back and forth. For the first turn, I will automatically, as the Union, get 3 initiatives, which is awesome. But, and there's always a but, I can activate anything. I can activate multiple times with wagons and with leaders. So those can be multiply activated in those 3. However, any infantry unit that I activate can only, and cavalry, infantry and cavalry, can only be activated a single time. So whatever infantry moves, it's got to hopefully do pretty well. However, there's a little boon for there. If I activate an infantry or wagon as part of the march or activate leader action, the minimum die roll is a 3. So even if I roll a 1 or a 2, it's automatically converted to a 3, and then of course I get the +1 to that. And the minimum die roll does not apply, however, to the cavalry, which, okay, we'll deal with that. Again, in this one, Roger's Confederates will win all of the tied initiatives. Union wagon trains, same issue that we've had before. We've got ornery cusses that are those mules. However, I have to pay an additional movement penalty of +1 for crossing any bridge. So those 3 bridges out of Franklin, that's going to be a bit of a traffic jam if I don't get the movement that I need. Over in Nashville, we see the Union DAT Corps. That is Smith, MacArthur, and J. Moore. And basically, they have the turn 2 marker on them, so they can't do anything in turn 1. Croxton, again, we see Croxton can be activated by a division leader, R. Johnson. Roger's Confederate movement restriction, and Alberto has nicely put this into the module for us. This red line that is around Nashville at 3 hexes means that no Confederate unit at all can go within 3 hexes of Nashville. So he has to stay outside of that boundary. As we saw before, Johnson can be activated by either Stuart or Lee, as we saw in previous scenarios. And then we got a special nod to history tonight. In the Battle of Franklin, historically, Pat Cleburne, everyone's favorite Irishman, and I'm glad I've got my Irish whiskey here tonight, he was killed. And so we are going to use, per this scenario, the death of Cleburne, which means that if he initiates any attack, an assault or attacking on the march, if he initiates, if it's attacking only, if we roll doubles on our combat rolls, Pat has bought the farm, and they ship him back to Arkansas. And then we will replace him with Smith A, who is essentially the same. He's still he's a 3 on attack and defense instead of 4 and 3 as Pat Cleburne is. Finally, the last special rule is the Confederate march bonus, which we saw previously. Hood had still dumped that artillery back at the Duck River. It's slightly less this time because they are, I guess, catching up on the second day. So it is a minimum of 5 if the leader activates, and 4 if they self-activate, which is one less than last time. They even put a nice big exception there. Remember, this is different from last time. And the artillery is set to 0 for all of those units because they don't have any artillery. However, it catches up on turn 2. They will actually have artillery again. So that is all of our special rules for this particular scenario. You can see we're all lined up here between Franklin and Rutherford Creek. And the victory conditions tonight, once again, it's all about getting somewhere for the Union. That means wagons and divisions have to get, and this one is very specific in the language of this, which I appreciate on this one. This time they're trying to get to Nashville, and they must get to a line of communication that is defined as 13 movement points. And for the wagons, that does have to include any off-road +1 penalty for that. So that has to be factored in for the wagons. And we don't have to worry about rain, so there's none of that. So it is 13 movement points from Nashville in any way, shape, or form. However, it can't cross through a Confederate ZOC. Again, if that ZOC would be 3 or greater, and remember cavalry is halved. And the other exception to that ZOC is if you have a friendly Union unit there, that will supersede, that will override the ZOC block, I guess is what we're calling it. And then you could still have that line of communication go through. But there's a lot of pathways out of Nashville. And this time, there are 10 units. There's 7 infantries and 3 wagon trains. So each one of those are worth 7 victory points. So potentially that is 10 or 70 victory points in the positive for the Union player. However, as always, the one right above that, and this is what Roger mentioned last week in the recording, was if he gets any Confederate unit into Franklin on turn 1, that is an immediate negative 40 points for the Union, and that would be terrible. And that can only happen once. So if I get my 3 and somehow foolishly don't leave anybody in Franklin and somebody just walks in there, then well, shame on me, right? That would be bad. And then besides those 2, it is still a negative 2 victory points for Union manpower losses and a +3 for Confederate losses. The minimum marginal for Union tonight is 56 victory points. So that is the threshold I'm trying to beat. I sat here for about 30 minutes looking at all the different possibilities, and I always assume it's just going to be hopeless and fail because I'm going to roll ones all the time. That's a lot to ask for stubborn mules and 2 turns. But we shall see. What do you think about this one, Roger?
Well, my first thought when I looked at the setup was the Union has this nice line of wagons and men. And in the earlier scenarios, my guys were running for their lives all over the map. So Schofield and Stanley have done a good job.
Yeah, they have. And what's the only unfortunate part of this is they start with exhaustion and a signal fatigue. So there is a consideration to be had for day 1. How far do you push them? How vulnerable are they going to be? How historically do I want to get behind that river and just hole up? You know, those questions will all be answered here and more on We Will Make the Fight.
And the designers are clearly dangling the Battle of Franklin.
Oh, sure.
Negative 40 points.
Sure, without a doubt.
Of course, if I recreate it and I get 7,000 casualties, that's what is that? 14 manpower losses.
That is ugly. That is 14. Yeah, 14 times 3, so that's 28, 42, negative 42 points. 42, so that would offset it. That's right.
Offsets it nicely. Of course, Hood didn't actually take Franklin on that first day. And for people who aren't, I did not know much about this campaign other than the broad stroke of Hood gets a wild hair, heads up to Tennessee and gets beat. And the details of reading through here. And I just want to throw out some more numbers in addition to the 7,000. 14 generals, 6 Confederate generals were killed, 6 killed, 7 wounded, 1 was captured. And this is just amazing. 55 regimental commanders were casualties, killed, wounded, or taken prisoner.
For for literally what was. This time it's going to be different,
This time it's
I
going to
can
be
make it
different, and
right.
this is a guy. Well, he had been wounded for Pickett's charge, but he was on the field of Gettysburg, which had a better chance than this did. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be interesting. If you get three initiatives, how far do you go? How far do you push them? I took a look at this for really detailed last night, and I really don't know how this is going to
I don't
go.
either. That's
Uh,
why we play, right?
that's why we play. I mean, sometimes it's clear what both sides need to do. And this, I just I'm going to wait and see what you do, and then try to react to
Exactly.
that as best I
Exactly.
can.
And just looking at the terrain alone, there are so many holes that you can exploit. And so if you see that I've left something open, yeah, I have no doubt whatsoever that you're just going to charge right in there and take advantage of it.
But Smith's Corps back there at Nashville,
Yeah.
that that's I got to can't forget about them.
But they are
But
the quote the cavalry that's going to arrive later. But if I
yep,
roll poorly on them, they're just going to get up to the line and say we're here, and they're going to be
yep,
fatigued out. you know, I,
yep.
uh,
So anyway, yeah, this is going to be, I think, going to be another one of these where it's like I think when I looked at the scenario book when I got it, I was thinking, well, we're going to get this. We'll be able to turn this around
yeah,
in one
right,
night.
right.
Both. Now I'm guessing I
I
don't
don't
think so.
either. I don't either. But I do suggest that everyone strap in, buckle up, and get ready for
Yep.
what I hope to be a fun ride. Um, so with that being said, let us get underway. I'm not going to do any leader transfers for turn one. I think I'm going to go with the historical and see what I can do with them. Did you want to make any changes?
No, I'll leave everybody where
Okay.
they are
All
as
right.
well.
Well, okay. Then I will take the first of my three free initiatives, and we're going to have Schofield at the head of the line. He's going to activate Cox, Ruger, Wagon A, Kimball, and Wagon B, right? Because that makes sense. What's the worst that can happen? He asked presciently. All right, so they're all going to go get a fatigue. The divisions will get a couple of them will get extended marches. Here is our movement of minimum die roll of 3. Hey, all right. There we
There you
go.
go.
All right, so we'll start with our Cox. He's getting a +1 to his extended march. He is okay. So he will go 1. He can get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can get there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll send the wagon. We'll send Ruger first. Extended march Ruger +1. He's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And wagon A, they don't need one, so they'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and then Kimball, his extended march +1. He's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And wagon B, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, that's one free initiative. Second free initiative, we will have Stanley activate everybody else. And here is their movement. +1. It's a 6.
Nice.
Okay. All right, so Stanley, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And wagon C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Wagner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Updike, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And then the third free initiative. Question is, how do I guard this wide open flank here? Wilson will activate everybody to fatigue level 1. Here's their movement. So we'll have Johnson go 1, 2, 3. Wilson there with him, and Croxton and Hatch come up to there. Okay, those are my 3. Here is the next initiative. It's mine again. So now I will have Schofield activate wagons A and B along with Ruger. Okay, here's their movement. It's 4. Okay, here's Ruger's extend march, +2 now. He's just gonna lose a manpower. So there, he's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 to Brentwood. And then wagon A is a +2, 1 for being a union, 1 for being a wagon. So +2, and they're okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And wagon B, also +2. He's okay. 1, 2. He gets there. 3, 4. Okay. Initiative. It is yours. Bum-ba-da-bum.
Stewart will take his, he'll take all 3 of his guys to fatigue 1. This is a 1 die +2, min 5. And I'm astounded at my abilities.
But you got 5. That's great.
Yeah, it is. Can't complain. Loring first. 1. Stewart's going to go with him. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wathel will go next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. French will come up behind, and he'll stay at the blacksmith shop. Initiative. It's mine again. Yeah, I'll take them to fatigue 2. So they'll need extended marches. Here's their movement, min 5 +2. So they actually get a 6 this time. We'll take Loring first. Here's his extend march. He's okay. 1, 2,
Well,
3,
Roger's moving.
4.
Why is it when
5.
I think of the Battle of Franklin, I think of Longstreet's debacle?
3, 4, 5, and 6. And French's extended march. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so initiative. It's yours.
I think I will have Stanley activate Wagner to 2. Here's his movement. 2. Here's his extended march of +1. Ah. Flip. Alright. Well, we got over the 2 to 1 anyway, so he's just gonna Stanley will join him and they will go into there. Initiative. It's mine again. I will have Stanley activate wagon C and get it rolling. Here's the movement, +1, 5, 1, 2. Oh, extended march, +1, +2. And he's gonna flip. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So initiative. It's mine again. I will have Opdyke
This
dig.
initiative thing has been the story of my life.
Just, you want to do this? Just wait a second. So he'll go to fatigue level 2 and he will dig. So we will add an Abatiste there. So he's now a 6. Which is unfortunate because I really need some artillery, but that's okay. Initiative. It's yours.
Oh, okay. So, let's see. So you built an abattis with Orpendike, which takes him to
6.
6. We've got 12.
I've
No,
got 10.
10.
Yeah, you've got. What does Jiminy Cricket tell you?
It's a chance for 40 points, is what Jimmy Cricket's telling me.
Do I even want to know what that reference
Oh,
is?
Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio. He was always like, "Hey, little buddy, don't do anything foolish."
Don't do that. Yeah.
I personally have all the faith in the world for you, and if you do this, then I'm gonna be like, ugh, I think we're done.
If I get a 2DR, well, first I've got to get the assault to come off. Bringing French and yeah, man. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna give the attempt. 40 points is just too much to pass up.
Right.
So we'll take them both to fatigue 2 because I need them both now. Cover the ratio and the artillery.
Jeff, you're getting all the excitement tonight.
I was just about to say, I picked
You
a good
did.
night to ask to let me.
Oh, here we go. Here's the attempt. 4 or less. Got the 3.
Boo.
So, just for the record, the ratio is 0. Tactical is 0. Type is a +1. Artillery is, there is no terrain, there is no flank. So the final actually is a +1 for me as I see it. You see the same thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay. +1, Union left, Confederate right.
Oh!
It's 7 to 3, +4.
All hail the conquering hero. On 8, let me look at my combats here. So 4 on 8 is a 1DR. Yep. So I'm going to take a loss from one of them, and they're both going to be demoralized. Which really terrible.
Really? Am I seeing a 40-point something gain here?
You are seeing a 40-point hole that I am now looking out of, or looking up from the bottom of. All right, so we're going to do that. I'm going to lose their entrenchments. They're going to put the... So, oops, not that. Put 1 manpower loss, and I'm... Okay, Franklin is yours.
I had a 1 FA, so I also suffered a manpower loss.
I got a point.
And they're fatigued out. You got 3 actually. You got 3
well,
points.
It offsets my 2, so I got one in my favor.
That's right. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna step into Franklin. Initiative, and I get those points just.
That's
for
it. Yeah,
going
I cannot take them away. Yep. So that is done.
Time.
We have a timeout on the field.
Because my attack, I do not have artillery.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But it would have reduced. Oh, that's right. So it would have reduced it by 2. So I would still get a DR. So you would still get Franklin either way because I got pushed out. Because you had a net +1, which would be on -1, but you rolled 3 above, so it would still be a 2. So instead of a demoralized, they would just be they could go 2 to 4. So let's and I will good catch.
So having no artillery cost him a DRM?
Yes, because instead of the wash on the artillery, I actually had 2 more than him in clear, which would be a -2 to his modifier. So instead of his net +1, he actually had a net -1. And then when he rolled, he got 3 more pips than me, so that came down to 2 more pips. So that's the difference between a small retreat and a rout in this case. That was a really good catch.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't
catch
it earlier.
We're so used to in the previous one, he had removed all of the artillery,
but
this one he didn't. That's okay.
Which is probably hard to do with, he would have had to reinstate it on the recover. I realized it when I was looking at Johnson had artillery. And
we actually just had our first instant replay. Wait a minute. Let's say he's running over to the booth.
Okay.
You were going to activate Cheatham and Cleburne.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we will call another timeout here, just because I'm crunching the numbers as we do, and I'm just looking at the reality of the situation. Let's say I get all 10 things. I get 70 points up there. That means that I still need to make up 26 points somehow. So I don't I don't know that I can come out of this hole. What do you think?
Okay, I just opened up my spreadsheet. So let me. So you're saying. So yeah, the smart play for me to win the game would be to do nothing,
Correct.
right?
I mean, I think
So
Stewart just did the knockout blow, and I'm curious as to what the designers expected as far as how you overcome that loss. I mean, because he did it. I mean, he got exactly 2 pips as we saw, and that I think prevents me from winning. I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
because let's say perfect world, I get
I mean,
70
I
points,
could.
and then I'm down. So yeah, that would get me to 30, and then I got the three, so 33, and I need another 23 points. So I'd have to kill a lot of manpower, or
Yeah,
or
and
or
and
have you do it for me, and I know you're not going to do that.
yeah, I'm gonna run. Yeah, why would
Right,
I? In terms of game, yeah, why
right,
would I? In terms of historically, I mean, if this was a campaign game, obviously I'd have to keep
right.
going.
So I'm content to just say congratulations because I just don't I'm digging around for some points here, but I don't know how aggressive they expect me to be when I've got wagon trains full of hardtack and eggs. I'm not going to do that.
And you'd have to turn your guys back
Right.
south, which takes them out of range.
Exactly.
So you lose every division you turn south loses you 7
Yeah.
points.
I think, yeah. I mean, Jeff, what do you think?
Okay, so his Franklin points, you cannot reverse that at any point,
Nope.
can you?
This VP award
That's
may
the way
only
that.
be gained once per game and only on turn one, and he did it on turn one. So, I mean, I should have now knowing that I should have left a unit just at Carter and just completely surrounded it. You just have a
I thought maybe when you started to move that cavalry that you were going to cross the river and use that ability that the cavalry has to delay. I thought maybe
that would
that's
have been the
why you
smart
were.
play.
That would have been,
But I
yeah.
decided to fortify the river just because I'm behind a river. Yeah, probably I should have just gotten right up in their face and let them do cav screening. So lessons learned.
It seems like the scenarios of Franklin base. I mean, you got to. It sounds to me like you got to put everything you can to keep them out of
Yeah.
it.
Well, I just didn't
I
expect
guess this.
Stewart to do that.
Well, it's pretty rare for
I
me to
know.
get the initiatives I needed
Right.
to do it too. I guess historically there would have been the. I want to move my units around here. This was the Union line in these three
Right.
hexes here, with backup in
Right.
Franklin, and
And that's why I put the unit in Franklin because if I had gotten one initiative with Opdyke there, I was going to do an Abattis before you got there. But I should have stopped him at Carter and just done a forward line completely. Mistakes were made and lessons were learned for next week. Wow.
It's
it,
amazing what you can learn in just even not even a full turn of a game. What can happen?
Oh
This
yeah.
is
have you gotten? You probably haven't gotten in the book. There's just, and I'm going to do a spoiler for you if you want. If you don't,
I'm
I
right
won't
now in
spoil them.
chapter 14, so they're literally approaching Franklin at
Okay.
this point. But
Okay. There's a personal, to me, this whole campaign, uh, since we got done fairly early, this is a Shakespearean tragedy. This campaign is that I did not realize. I mean, this would be uh, the end of Act One scene. This would be the scene at the end of Act One, which is just a disaster, and there's still more to go.
you just handed me the
And
Stanley Exunt from Franklin.
um,
I'm kind of disappointed that I lived in the Jonesboro Johnson City area and I didn't study more about these Western operations. And that's another reason why I wanted to watch you guys doing this. I know that my pre-order's already been charged and it's on its way, and I'm so pumped up to get my hands on this. I thought this would be a great thing to let me see this.
Well, you are certainly my lucky rabbit's foot, Jeff.
Yeah, can you join us next week?
I am available, Roger.
Oh man, even when we were talking about it at the beginning, I'm like, 40 points. What's the worst? I can come back from that. And then, yeah, I sat there and I actually did, arithmetic, and it went 70 minus 40. That's 30. 56. No, not gonna happen. Well, that's good. This is a very easy episode to edit tonight. I appreciate that. Oh man. Well, final thoughts then for next week and this scenario again. I mean, clearly your guard will be up more than it was with mine.
Yes, I think I learned something tonight. They want you to defend Franklin.
Yeah, boy howdy.
You sort of, I thought when you left your guy, I can't remember who it was, Wood there. Right. My whole idea was I was hoping, I figured you'd be there, and I would move through the woods and then go through these fords here and maybe catch you at Toll House or
I wanted to
swing further down and go into Brentwood. That was kind of my strategy for tonight.
I wanted to prevent something from that western flank, which I figured was coming either from Forest or one of those infantry corps was going to go maybe that way, just because they're set up at Spring Hill and they immediately have that detour. That was my rationale, was I'm going to have units doing rear guard action, but I just didn't expect that boom boom 10 hexes, there's Stewart and Loring and the assault came off.
I need to do a confession. If I'd have done the math right with the artillery,
you wouldn't have done it right,
and it'd be -1. I don't know if I don't think I would have done it.
It's just like George Costanza, do the opposite.
Exactly.
Here's my question: if it was Hood, would Hood have done it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
it's intriguing. I always say in my videos that the biggest fog of war you have is that dice.
Without a doubt, you can pile up 6, 7 modifiers in your favor and still roll the 1-6. It happens. It really happens, and that is fate's way of saying it was not meant to be.
Look, guys, thank you for letting me come in here and see this, and I'm going to ask you that I hope you will allow me to come back in next week and see the reverse osmosis.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Oh yeah.
We hope everybody watching this has learned from my mistakes, so when you play scenario 4, don't lose Franklin easily.
Next week Roger's going to leave.
I'm already thinking that exact thought.
But we hope you've enjoyed this Schadenfreude tonight, and feel free to click that subscribe button and leave your comments below. And I will take good-natured joshing and japes, so feel free. Send me souvenirs and guidebooks from the town of Franklin in Tennessee. I would appreciate it. But come on back next week and see the reverse. And Jeff, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure having an observer.
My pleasure. Appreciate it, guys. Talk to
all
you
right,
all
well,
soon.
Take care. Roger, I will see you here next week, same time.
Yeah, good night. Thank you.
Yeah,
for a good
night
game.
And congratulations. And all hail Mr. Stewart, General Stewart.
Yeah, I hear him.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye-bye.